Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing I want to do with you today is to go over the quiz with you quickly. There were a lot of errors, so I just want to make sure that you really understand. Now, I also want to apologize. I'm recording this at school, so there might be some extra noises that you're not used to. Alright, so number one, the word problem. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the following word problem. A cell phone company charges $42 per month of service. $42 per month. That's going to be your slope. It's a rate, dollars per month. The cost of a new cell phone plus 8 months of service is $415.99. That's going to be an ordered pair. And remember, the X's almost always have to do with time. So 8 is your X and $415.99 is your Y. Never ever round until you get your final answer. So don't chop off that 99 cents. It has to be there. Otherwise, you won't get all the money that you are asking for. All right, so now we need to find B, and we don't know what B is. So we can plug into slope-intercept form everything that we do know and solve for B so that we can write our equation. So remember, Y is 415.99. M is 42. X is 8. And the thing that we don't know is B. So now all we have to do is simplify. Do 42 times 8, which gives us 336. And then subtract 336 from both sides, which gives us 79.99 equals B. So writing your final equation, Y equals M, which is 42, X plus 79.99. Okay? Now the next problem says, using the equation you wrote, so this equation down here, you're going to find how much it would cost to buy a new cell phone and 3 months. And remember, our X is the months, so that's where we're going to plug in 3. So it's going to cost $42 times 3, that's the cost per month, plus $79.99, which is the cost of a new cell phone. And if we put that into our calculators, we will see that it's going to cost us $205.99 for 3 months and a new cell phone. Alright, moving on to the back of that quiz. Remember, point slope form is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And if I need to write an equation in point slope form using this point, all I have to do is write the y, which is 2, equals the slope, which is 6, x minus negative 7. Now the only thing I can do is to simplify that negative. If I do any more math, it is no longer going to be in point slope form. For example, some of you distributed. If you distribute, now it's not in point slope form. So don't do that. Your final answer is that guy right there. In the second problem, oh, we're missing something. That's the formatting of this silly thing. Hold on, let me plug it in there. Let's see if I can write that tiny. -5/2, I think it was. Okay. So we've got y minus 1 equals -5/2 x minus 6. What is the slope? Remember, slope is what is multiplied by the parentheses. And the ordered pair, you're going to start with the x, and remember it's the opposite, so it's positive, and then the y. Opposite, so it's positive. If it had said plus, the ordered pair would be negative. And then remember that in order to graph it, we're going to start with that point, 6, 1, and then from there we're going to go down 5 over 2. Or we could go up 5, left 2. Oops, that's an ugly line. Try again. That's better. Alright, so that's how you solve those. Alright, moving on, let's go ahead and start today's lesson. Write into your goal sheets. We're talking about specifically perpendicular lines today. It's the same goal as yesterday, except instead of parallel, we're talking about perpendicular. And remember, the perpendicular slope is going to be the reciprocal and negative. So if my slope was 3, the perpendicular slope is negative 1/3. Did you guys see that little symbol I made right there? That's the symbol for perpendicular. It looks like intersecting lines at a 90-degree angle. All right, and what if my slope was negative 1/2? The perpendicular slope would be positive 2. All right, so let's do some problems. Okay, determine whether the graphs are parallel or perpendicular. In order to decide, we need to find out what the slope is. So what's the slope of this line? Well, that's in the form y equals mx plus b. So the slope of that first line is negative 2. That was easy. How about this second one? That's in ax plus by equals c. We don't know the slope from that, but we can rewrite it by getting the y alone. Negative 2y equals negative 4 minus x. Divide everything by negative 2. And we get that y equals 2 plus 1/2 x. Because remember, that's a 1 divided by a 2. That would be positive 1/2 x. So the slope then of that line, this will be slope 2. That was slope 1. Slope 2 is going to be positive 1/2. So line 1 and line 2 are perpendicular. Let's look at that last equation, y equals 3. What kind of slope does a y equals 3 have? Well, if you remember our dear friend Oy-Vooks, what kind of line is that? It's horizontal, and horizontal lines have 0 slope. So we can say line 3 is neither parallel nor perpendicular. All right, let's do another problem. All right, here's where you get into writing the equation of a perpendicular line. We've got an ordered pair, 4, negative 1, and we've got this graph, 7x minus 2y equals 3. So we need to find out what the slope is to go with this point to write our equation. What is the slope of that equation? Well, it's ax plus by equals c, so we need to do some rewriting to find out what the slope is. So that'll give me negative 2y equals 3 minus 7x. Divide everything by negative 2. And we get y equals negative 3/2 plus 7/2 x. Which one is the slope? If you recall, slope is always multiplied by x. So our slope that we are dealing with is a positive 7/2. And remember, we're talking about a perpendicular graph. So the slope of a perpendicular graph would be the reciprocal. And then since this one's positive, this one has to be negative. So the slope we're dealing with is negative 2/7. All right, so I've got my slope and I've got my point. So y minus negative 1 equals m x minus x1. And remember, it said slope-intercept form. So I can do my keep, change. I need to distribute. So I've got y plus 1 equals negative 2/7 x plus, a negative times a negative is a positive, 8/7, because 4 times 2 is 8. All right, and then I just need to get the y alone, subtract 1 from each side. So y equals negative 2/7 x plus 1/7. Pretty ugly, but not much different than yesterday. Just an extra step, we had to find the slope first. Let's try another one. So we're going through the point -3, -2, and we need to figure out what the slope is of this equation. So let's subtract x from both sides. We get 4y equals 12 minus x. Divide everything by 4. So we get y equals 3 minus 1/4 x. So the slope of that line is a -1/4. But we want the slope of a perpendicular line. So it's positive, and it's the reciprocal. So we're going to be using this point and this slope. So in point-slope form, we're doing y minus -2 equals 4x minus -3. We can do some keep, change there to make things a little prettier. And remember, they asked us for slope-intercept form. So that means I need to distribute and then move that 2 to the other side. So I have y equals mx plus b. That one's a little bit prettier than the previous one, but you get the idea. So, to recap, if they give you the equation of the line in y equals mx plus b, you just have to pull out the slope. But if they don't give it in y equals mx plus b, you have to do all this work to find the slope. Then you have to change it into the negative reciprocal, plug it in to y equals point slope form, and convert it to y equals mx plus b. All right, try some homework. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 problems. Not too bad. Good luck.